Hello and welcome back to Tidbit of Torah. In this week's Torah portion, Parashat Lecha, we learn about complexity in families from Sarah and Avraham, the founding family in Judaism, and also the founding family of all the Abrahamic faiths. Sarah and Avraham are laudable. From them, we learn about the mitzvah of hachnasat orchim, of hospitality and welcoming guests. From them, we learn about the value of bichor cholim, of visiting the sick. From them, we learn about the power of justice, of arguing for the few but mighty righteous people of Sodom. And from them, we learn about how to find courage at times when we are facing the unknown, of moving, of taking uncharted paths, of trying on new identities, and leading new people in new directions. And so we can hold them up on a pedestal for their incredible values and profound choices. But when we look below the surface, we can also see that they are struggling with the same complexities and messiness and complicated family dynamics that we too face in our lives. For example, Sarah and Avraham struggle with infertility. Sarah is only able to have Isaac, their son, at a very advanced maternal age with help. Sarah and Avraham are also part of a multi-heritage family. They become Jewish at a much older stage in life, and they welcome in Hagar, an Egyptian, to become a multi-heritage interfaith family that creates complications and communication challenges and also brings about so much blessing as a family of faith for them with all the different members of their family. I had the privilege last week of spending 4 days in Chicago as part of a retreat for the Rukin Rabbinic Fellowship, part of 18 Doors to support interfaith families. And with 26 other rabbis, I learned so much about how we can, how we must, how we do show up as an affirming presence to learn from and support the interfaith families in our community that provide us with, that are such a blessing to our communities, that are a blessing to our American Jewish community, and who are, frankly, the future of our American Jewish communities. Thirdly, Avraham and Sarah remind us that we all have complicated family dynamics. Sarah and Hagar, for example, have a lot of tension in their relationship, so much so that Hagar ends up leaving Sarah, Isaac, and Avraham's home. We too face complicated family dynamics and strained relationships with members of our family who we don't see eye to eye with, who we don't relate to the values of, who are different from, or whom we just have a hard time communicating with or coexisting with. We also see that there's tension in the relationship between Sarah and Avraham when they go down to Egypt at a time where resources are scarce, and Avraham asks Sarah to pretend that she is his sister, and she ends up becoming abducted in Egypt in a very painful moment in which their relationship is also strained. And so when we look to Avraham and Sarah, we can feel some comfort in knowing that they too are holding complexity in their lives that we too hold in our families that can be strained and also mended and complex. At this time in the world, we especially can feel what feels like the burden of complexity. As American Jews with our hearts and families in Israel, as a time where there's so many political opinions and voices and videos and words, often which are hard to absorb. A time when we have the complexity of raising children, caring for aging parents, showing up for colleagues and family members and ourselves and so many others. And yet, Parashat Lecha and the story of the family of Avraham and Sarah remind us that even at times when complexity can feel heavy, we can be reminded that with complexity comes true and lasting blessing. And so, as we head into this Shabbat, I hope that we can give ourselves some grace, knowing that we are not alone with holding the complexity of our family lives and the world and so much else at this time. And also find ways to see the blessings that come with the complexities in our families and in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.